Some people think that all tech jobs are going to get replaced by AI, but quite frankly, that's not true. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 of the most interesting tech jobs that you could be doing at an airport. And these are jobs that AI just can't replace. To do this, I'm going to travel across 3 different airports and actually speak to the people doing the jobs themselves to understand what they do, what it's like, and exactly how you can get there too. The first job is for an IT program manager. Meet Rachel. Rachel is part of the team that's literally building the new Stansted Airport extension. Take a look.
This is Stansted Airport is about to go through a complete transformation, and it's basically building a massive extension on the side of the terminal. So when we're looking at it here, what's going to change?
What's going to change? So the little glass cube you see in front of you, that's our Buckgate facility.
Yeah.
We're building a new one,
Okay.
which will be over the far side of the airfield.
Okay.
This Skylink you can see that currently takes you to Satellite 2 is replaced by a brand new one.
Okay. Another Skylink.
Another Skylink. So what will happen is on this grass bank behind you here
Yeah.
will be what we call the node building, and on that will land a Skylink that goes all the way over there to Satellite 1, which is out of your view,
So Satellite 1 was at
and Satellite 2.
So it's no longer going to be track country.
Train goes.
It's just going to be walking around.
So you can build a beautiful building, but I always say if the IT's not in it, you can't put a passenger in it. You know, it's from
The
everything.
IT did it. You can't put a passenger in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Simple as that.
It's as simple as that, because you need it for the security side of things, when we talk about CCTV, making sure the right doors are open for the right flights. But also when you start thinking about, okay, Wi-Fi. Everybody wants their phone to work when they walk through the building. What's the mobile signal going to be like? What's operational radio like? How are we going to tell people where their flights are going? Well, that needs a digital display screen and all the cabling that goes into it. So there's going to be kilometres worth of cabling in that building.
Now you might be thinking, to get a job like this, surely you have to come from a super technical background. That's just not true.
So Rachel, tell me how you got here. Like, what's your career journey to be in the position that you're in? How did you end up here?
Well, I'm not a techie.
At all?
At all.
Really?
At all. Now, I have a degree in applied biology, specialising in botany.
In botany?
Yep, so plants are my big thing.
Wow. So applied biology
Yep.
and botany. Yeah, your current role is
IT program manager.
IT program manager.
So
How did you
How did I get?
How did you get?
So I graduated my degree.
Yeah.
I applied for a PhD doing plant research. Unfortunately, it fell through for various reasons. So I took a job at a local tour operator selling holidays to Belgium over the phone. I was there for 5 years, 6 years, worked my way up to managing the department. And a colleague mentioned that there was a IT company in London looking for somebody from a customer service background to be in IT recruitment. So IT program management is actually my 3rd career.
Your 3rd career.
There's this lovely local employer called Stansted Airport who was looking for, at the time, a project coordinator. So looking for somebody with an eye for detail to do administrative stuff, working with the project management team.
See.
That's where I started 18 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so 9 years as a contractor, changing from project coordinator to project manager, and now 9 years as a permanent member of staff, going from project manager to senior PM to IT program manager.
Wow.
Well, the reason I've been here for 18 years is twofold. First, it's the people. Yeah, it's a really lovely environment to work in. And the second reason is the variety. One day I could be installing a Wi-Fi AP that allows Wi-Fi in a retail unit. Small piece of work, but critical to that retailer. The next, I could be working on all the IT for the new baggage system.
Wow.
So I've touched baggage, check-in, security systems, border force, and worked in the immigration hall, but also done the back office stuff. So I worked on our SAP system, which is our financial system, behind the scenes. It's so wide-ranging. It's like doing IT for a town rather than for a company. And you can walk out of our office, which is only the other side of the terminal building.
Very close.
Walk over here, instantly see the impact you've had.
Which is also very rich.
Which is awesome.
At this point, I wanted to get inside Rachel's mind. I wanted to understand, how does she even think about IT? I asked her a very specific question and her answer completely blew my mind. She completely changed the way I even think about the words IT.
We have an interesting setup here. Have a look at this, right? So to a layman, one set of desks. Yeah, I'm seeing computer screens.
Yep.
I'm seeing scanners. I'm seeing a phone line. I'm seeing radios.
Yep.
What do you see?
I see the help to the customer journey.
Okay.
For a set of desks, there's a lot in there, but it's ultimately, how is that helping the passengers who are arriving on the train, coming out here and trying to get out of the airport? They're trying to arrive into the country at this point. So these guys are here to provide that support, and what can we do to make that easier for them? So it's easy, there's a phone. So if somebody needs to phone someone to say, I've got a problem, I'm going to be longer getting through the border, I might have booked a taxi, I might have booked a train, I might have somebody waiting for me the other side of the wall. But it's also, how do the staff, the radios to communicate, the Wi-Fi, the mobile signal in this building to make sure that works for them. There'll be things on the desk like hearing loops, so that our passengers who do struggle to understand and can hear better at these help point locations. And then all the computer equipment that goes with it, which means they can see what flights are due to arrive, what flights are getting through the border, has your bag turned up in baggage reclaim, because a lot of passengers will arrive here and start that sense of panic, that sense of anxiety about what happens next. If you're not a frequent flyer, this can be intimidating. It's about making sure the teams who are here to support them, and you'll see our colleagues in their high-vis jackets all over here, they are our customer teams. So they are here to enable that, to help them. So what technology can we give them to help the passengers?
I love that. That's such an interesting way of thinking about it, and I think it really leans on the fact that you don't have to be technical to do this job. You really need to be a broad thinker. You need to be somebody who can think about the customer and the end experience. At every stage of a journey through an airport, you have a passenger who needs to do something, and then you have people who will support them on that journey. And both sides of that jigsaw puzzle can do with some IT, because the passenger could be given information, and if they get given the right information at the right time, then that makes that bit more efficient. And then you have the person who's trying to help them, who also can be fed some information or fed back some information. I guess it's information technology for a reason. It's all about moving information and pieces of data. I can't believe that it's taken me like this long in life to realize like IT as a concept is just a process of transferring data. And then we use technology to do that. We use screens to do that. We use telephones to do that. We use walkie-talkies to do that. We use laptops and all these things to do that. And then that's when you really get
right information, right place, right time.
But what if you actually really like the nitty-gritties of technology? What if you really want to be hands-on? Well, the next job I want to introduce you to is of a technical support team leader. Me, Rick. Rick works at East Midlands Airport. One of his core responsibilities is networks. But what even is a network?
So basically, pretty much every device that you see has a physical network cable connected to it, and that has to get to a wider network to get, to the outside world or to an internal system. Our personal devices that we use, most of them are Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
So even though we've got this wireless connection, there's always going to be a physical connection to something.
Rick works directly with these assets on the ground every single day, and to be honest with you, the scope of his work is actually very hard to believe. Listen to this.
So Rick, you've got so many different responsibilities in this place. How do you define them?
So the main one is technical operations, which is basically the support of the server infrastructure and systems that run on it. Pretty much most of the systems you see in an airport. Well, then you've got network side, which is the network switches that all the end devices connect to. Nice. Then you've got desk side, where it's to do with office moves, issues that you have to go to someone to sort out, rather than, they can come to you. And then you've got the FID side. So FID stands for Flight Information Displays, and it's basically what you see to get all your flight information. So the actual system that it's running is external, basically just a computer running a web browser. It uses a server to generate a unique link which tells it what to fit on that information. And the last one is installations, and that's kind of mixed in with networks a little bit, but that'll be the physical patching that I've mentioned, and fiber patching for the network switches.
On a side note here, while I was talking to Rick, I realized something. He'd been working for Manchester Airport Group for a very, very long time. Kind of similar to Rachel. He'd been here more than 10 years. And I sat down and I said, Rick, why?
MAG actually are quite good in terms of looking at your salary and reviewing it every year. I don't think I've ever worked in any other company that does salary reviews every year, where they'll look at increases based on the climate and all that. Yeah.
One of the most important parts of the infrastructure of IT at an airport is data centers. And I asked Rick if we can go and have a sneak peek behind the scenes to see what they look like and how they operate.
So you might remember this tower from our video that we made before about ATC. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the video that we've done about ATC, one of our most popular videos. You're gonna love it. So while this is behind us, imagine there's an entire world happening with the IT systems that keep that place running and all the other places running, and that's the data centers now. We're gonna go and check out right now.
These are our host servers for our virtual environment.
Wow.
The beauty of having a virtual server, like I said before, a computer is storage, it's processing power, and it's memory, right? If you can get your storage shared across all these physical devices, which it is, it's got solid state drives, it sees it as one basically. So it means that the storage for your server could be anywhere, but the actual server itself, the processing power, will run on one of these virtual servers at one time. We keep copies. There's 2 copies of the other data center, 2 copies on this data center, and a backup. So you're not going to lose it. Say if we lost power, everything failed in terminal, we have the time to migrate everything that's on here to the other data center without any downtime.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one more part of this IT world that we haven't really spoken about yet, and I want to introduce you to, and it's probably one of the most underrated jobs that you could be doing in the IT space. It's actually the data analytics part of the business. To understand it, we headed up north to Manchester Airport and met Dan and Kieran, who took us on a deep dive of everything they do as part of the data team, aka DASA.
When you look around a place like this place oozes data. What does that data actually look like? Tom, what is it you do here?
I'll take you on a walk through,
Yeah,
if you like.
let's go.
We're in departures at the moment and we're in check-in. So as a passenger, what's the first thing you want to do in the airport?
Probably find where you drop off your bag. Yeah, exactly.
Of course. So the first data point is really the screens, where you're going to drop your bags, your departure time, where you're going, your tour operator. Now the source of that information is Flight Operating Database, AODB. That has all of the flight information, arrivals, departures, the times of those flights, the type of aircraft, the number of passengers we're expecting. Then when we think about number of passengers we're expecting, we know the departure time, we can think about planning. We'll be looking at, okay, we've got departures going at midday, so therefore we're expecting to get busy around about 9:30 to 10 o'clock, 2 hours before your flight, or maybe longer if it's an international flight. So for this area, we can start doing planning reports, taking the information out the same database that supports the flight information displays to make sure that the check-in desks are manned.
Wow, okay.
So we work with the engineering team that do the screens, taking data out of the flight information system, putting it into what we call a data warehouse, which is a big bucket full of data, and then we'll make sense of that big bucket. So we'll take small elements out and then present to the business a nice report which shows them a graph on turn-up profile of actually going to get busy at 10 in the morning. You can see it visually, and then we'll create some visuals for them based off that information.
So like every single one of these people walking here is basically producing data that then you guys capture and put into a report so the business can make sense of that data and then make decisions based on that data.
People really don't think about how much data airports are processing every single minute. And to be honest, it's not your personal data, it's more the operational data of the airport. This thing actually oozes information and is being captured constantly.
What's next? What's the next step in that?
The next bit, we've got these auto check-in desks which you can do yourself, and we'll take a data feed from these. So we'll take data from these real time into the data warehouse so we can understand how busy check-in is, what our check-in desk utilisation is looking like. What we can also do is, if we see a queue building up, we can measure the queuing in this area. We can then work with the airline operators, say, well actually Qatar, you've only got 2 desks open, what about opening a 3rd or a 4th, and actually manage the queues.
You can see how many queues build up here?
Yes, we've got other sensors that are in the airport.
Point them out.
We can
point them out just up there, and that's not the only one. So if you look up onto the ceiling, there's this little tiny blip. That little thing is just looking at the entire concourse, basically measuring how many people are there to obviously how busy or how not busy it is. Right behind me is the security. Security is probably one of the most stressful parts of a passenger journey, and it releases a lot of data. There's so many little bits of that journey that you can start to look into and make improvements. So part of your team is a guy called Kieran.
Yep.
Kieran's about to go on a deep dive with us to understand exactly what it takes to make a security journey as smooth as possible. Let's do that. So these are the machines where you scan your boarding pass, and then when you cross this line, you're now tracked into the system to go into security. Meet Kieran. Kieran, what do you do here?
Nice to meet you, Mo. I'm a data analyst. I've been here 3 years.
Kieran, what happens at this stage? Why is this bit so significant?
It's significant for a number of reasons. One is that this is where we start the sort of passenger journey through security, and we collect that first pinpoint. This allows us to understand how many passengers are entering into our security. We can also use that information to start forecasting for future days when we expect passengers to turn up, how many at certain times, and we can start to sort of plan ahead. We'll also have sort of LiDAR technology implemented in security.
Similar to the stuff we saw on the outside.
Yes,
Okay.
so that will start tracking the time a passenger is waiting for before they enter into security. So where your queue time measurement comes from. We want that queue time to be as low as possible so our passengers have a better experience.
The security is probably the most stressful part of an airport experience. So the queue, this bit that we're walking in now, is that area that actually, if you can get this right, you just dramatically reduce the stress levels.
Exactly.
Another thing that's important, does the LiDAR technology actually take personal data and track personal data?
No, we wouldn't be able to tell that it was you. We just know it was an individual.
So no worries, panic over, you don't have to worry in the comment section anymore. So Kieran, when they actually grab one of these trays and they put them here, what data do we start collecting from this point on?
So from this point, we can start to measure on average how long it's taking a passenger to unload their belongings within the tray. Then obviously once they've unloaded, pass the tray down there, and okay, it goes scanner. So as you saw the tray pass through the machine here, it'll immediately get a scan, and that scan will take an image of what the belongings are in that tray. That image will then be presented on one of these viewing stations.
So somebody will be sat here, we'll be sat here.
Pass, fail, will highlight if it's a fail, what reason are they failing for. So on average, how many trays are we rejecting?
If you actually look at the screen over there, you can actually see there's a percentage reject rate. So that percentage is if there's 100 bags that are going through the main path and they're all clear to go, but this person on this screen rejects 50 of them, then it's 50% reject rate. And the question is, remember, there's somebody who's standing there whose responsibility is to tell the people to take things out of the bag and to prepare those trays so to reduce the reject rate. So if this reject rate is through the roof, then the person who's standing there needs to do a better job at explaining how the people can process their bag. So that data will be able to actually tell you how good of a job that person was doing and giving clear instructions. And if there's like consistent data that comes out of it, then maybe there's something that needs to change in the operating process or in the instructions to just make it all more clear. There's a few other figures on there. If we were to look at it and start from the top, so we've got passenger throughput.
Yeah.
Target is 400. What is that? 400 per
Hour.
400 per hour per lane.
Per lane, per hour.
So per lane per hour. Then you have the actual. How is that bit of data collected?
So that's come from the body scanners. If a passenger has gone through the body scanners, that counts as one passenger. And then of course we can roll that up to an hourly figure.
Okay, interesting. Then you have the trace performance, IPP.
Images per person or trays per person is a blended figure. So we'll get one element of that data from our tray counts, which is when the tray passes through the CTX scanner. And then the same applies to the second portion of that, which we need the number of passengers, which we get from the body scanners. And then doing one divided by the other gives us our trays per person.
Okay, so we've had 500 people and we've had 1,000 trays. Therefore, 2 per.
Exactly, yeah.
That makes sense.
Precisely.
What's an example of like an action that has been taken as a result of the data that's been collected?
We started to monitor inconsistencies within our performance through the data, and what we were able to identify was, whilst there was no real difference between like throughputs and the number of lanes that you had open, what it actually fell down to was the number of screeners. So the people that you had sitting on the machines was relatively low, impacting queue time. So
Wow, so there's the number of people that were sat behind the screens that was actually more impactful than the number of lanes that you had open?
exactly. So what we were able to do off the back of it was, for 2 weeks, we aimed to have at least 2 screeners active against every lane that was operational. And just a small adjustment like that saw a dramatic change in our performance. And now it's set as a target, as a standard, to have at least 2 screeners for every lane open to ensure that they can keep that momentum going, performance stays strong and efficient.
So only data was going to actually be able to tell you that. And that's what I love about data, is like if you get it right, when you make a change, you can see an instant impact based on your decision making. And it's just, it just gives you that tangible insight into making the right decision, not just what you think is the right thing.
Exactly.
Data is literally useless unless you actually do something with it. Now, once you pass security, that's not the end of the data journey. The data continues even beyond that point. Take a look.
So now we're heading into what we call International Departure Lounge, and it's time for you to unwind and relax, grab something to eat, grab a drink, do some shopping. From a data perspective, our journey is still continuing.
Now we're looking at the next screen. So the next FID, flight information display, is this one, and it's presenting a whole different set of data points.
Yep.
What sort of data has driven decision making when it comes to these screens?
So same screen as before. This time, apart from checking information, it's your departure information. So it's which gate. So the data source is exactly the same. That flight information database that we had at the beginning of the walkthrough. What's changing in this area is that we're starting to look at ways that we can dynamically assign gates and use AI to go, actually, is it best for an aircraft to park at gate A or gate B? And actually using AI and machine learning to take the information from there, look at the performance of the airport, look at the movement of aircraft, and actually optimise that. We spoke about comfort levels earlier. If you had 1,000 people in, it would be busy. But we've got a comfort level. So our comfort level might be 700. If we're going above that comfort level, and we know how many people have come in because the boarding card reads, we know when they left because we've got their flight departures, and if there's been any delays, there's an opportunity to move people out to the gates earlier. Look at the space that we've got around the airport, and then move the people around and actually free up some space for the new people coming in.
Okay.
So what we'll do is dynamically change the call to gate time.
Interesting.
We're now in the departure lounge, so our busy time is going to be now like an hour before the flight,
Yeah.
but then we're going to move you to gates, then the gate will get busy. We've got that information, we can plan, we can work with our retailers to say, well, we're expecting 10 flights to depart, we've all got 200 people on board, so you have 2,000 people here,
Wow.
all wanting food, drink, beverages, shopping.
Based on the previous data, you sell 50 coffees
Exactly.
every hour during this peak period, so make sure you've got stock to do that.
And we'll have heat maps of information, all based off of the flight information that we started off with.
That is so cool. The better you understand your data, the better decisions you make, the better airport you run.
Exactly.
And the better airport you run, the more people want to come back, and the more money you make, and the more successful you are.
Exactly.
All is driven by data, so that's cool. I like that. That's really cool. We've just been told which gate we go to, and now we're in this brand spanking new part of the terminal. And look at it. First and foremost, before we get to the data parts, this space is amazing. It's like, it's spotless. Yeah, it smells like a new car. This is the boarding gate,
Yeah.
and somebody's coming through.
Yeah, so your last data point for us really, from a passenger perspective, is boarding card and your passport. So reconcile that you're allowed to get on that flight.
Okay.
And then the flight crew will let you onto the aircraft. From a data perspective, we don't stop there though, because we've got, remember that database that's got your departure time?
Yeah. That's all happening now.
So now that's all happening out there. So we've got your scheduled departure time. We've got an estimated departure time, which might be different.
Yep.
We might estimate it because it's been a hold up for some reason.
Yeah.
And then we've got your actual
The
departure
actual
time.
time.
And what we're doing is working with AWS at the moment. We talked about AI earlier. We're looking at a vision system. We use our CCTV, monitors the aircraft, and then using AI and machine learning, we can detect when the fuels come on being connected, when the people are coming off, when the air bridge is connected. And if we can capture those events, we can understand if we've got a delay, well, what caused the delay. If we understand what caused the delay, we can then better plan to say, well, actually, this event hasn't happened, so we need to do something, or else we're going to get a delay. So we can actually preempt what might cause a delay based off of vision system capturing the events that are happening on an aircraft turnaround.
There's a really amazing quote, by the way, and this is like, it's fundamental. You can't improve what you don't measure, right? If you don't measure it, then you can't improve it. That's facts. And the process of measuring is the data capture. If you don't measure it, then you have no hope. And it goes from the most simple things to the most complex environments, like an airport.
Yep, exactly. Every step of the journey, so as a passenger.
There you go. Now
You've got your plane,
guys,
not delayed, you're there, departed on time,
you go.
and your departure is complete from a data perspective.
Fantastic. If somebody's watching this and they would love to build a career in an industry that's surrounded by data, or maybe even have your job one day, what advice would you give them?
I think first of all, be curious and interested in, not necessarily data as such, but what are the causes of things and how can I improve things? If you think about how I can improve something, well, what do you need to improve it? Oh, data will help in that.
Yeah.
But if you've got that mindset to be sort of logical in your way of thinking and interested and have a bit of an investigative sort of mindset, then that definitely helps you on your way. And if you've got that as a basis, you can build on it from there.
Perfect. There you go. So just like that, if you want a career in the data space in an airport, Manchester Airport is an amazing place where you can build a career. As you can see, they're investing so heavily into understanding the data that comes out of the airport to try and make the airport as good as it possibly can. Check the links in the bio if you're looking for any type of opportunities in Manchester Airport, and I will see you in the next video. Let's go.